Happy afternoon, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's your buddy Chop It On coming at you with another episode of Chop Talk brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy sports related from NBA to NFL to NHL to PGA to MMA. We have you covered with over 20 coaches, 40 staff, thousands of members constantly discussing DFS 24/7 to make you a better player. We talk strategy, we talk game theory, we talk player picks, we play player A, player B, all this sort of stuff all the time to constantly make you a better player. So head down into the comment section, become a member today. DFSArmy.com is the link. Coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, 10% off the lifetime of your membership. Just remain a member. Easy peasy. I'm also running a little December sweeps out here on Twitter. If you follow me at Chop It On, you can find my pinned tweet, which every time you retweet that, your name goes into the pot, into the hat, where you're going to be eligible to win a free December full VIP access month of December. I don't care if you're a member. I don't care if you're not a member. I don't care if you've entered my contest 10 times. Retweet my Help Me Help You. Retweet my DFS Diary, the one-stop shop for all of the DFS content that comes out of the Army, and you will be entered to win a free month. So let's dive into the NBA today. This won't take very long. NBA, what do we have? I don't even know what size the slate is, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at it too closely. I will tell you this. My first stop has become, when I'm looking at the slate, has become this first look article by CG. It's a phenomenal article. Talks a little bit of injury news, talks a little bit of the games that we're looking at today. So what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with no lines on some of them. 5-game NBA slate, but we're looking at the top 5 paced up matchups. Big possession. Now 0.5, minus 0.5, this doesn't matter so much, but these two up here, Miami and Denver, probably in a good spot. The top 5 worst defenses to attack, Atlanta. We're going to be taking their opponents. Atlanta, Phoenix, New York, whatever. Who's out, who's questionable. You want to know who's out and what that means, where the usage slides, where the rotation goes, where it slips over to. This is a great spot to look for some of the questionable players on the slate. And then, of course, as news locks and news changes, our coaches are in their rooms, actually leading up to lock after we produce some more of our content. They will be in their rooms guiding players right up until lock as late news breaks, giving you the latest information and where to change. Like last thing, when Chris Paul was announced out, James Harden became a phenomenal play. In fact, in a lot of cases, he jumped over. We were using more DeRozan, using more, and then the minute that news broke, boom! All of a sudden, your lineup construction got flipped on its head in the last 30 minutes or so before lock. That's very, very important information to get. And if you follow us out on Twitter, you're not going to get it as quickly as if you get it in our real-time coaching forum channel. So, anywho, let's dive into the research station. Dive into the research station. What we do is we sort by a method. I like this and-one rating system. The and-one rating system is a catch-all metric. If you haven't heard me talk about it before, is the team at home or are they away? Are they facing a good defense or a bad defense? Are they paced up? Are they scheduled to score more points than their season average? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It puts different weights and measures on all these different factors. It factors in things like what was this guy's fantasy point production over the last 10 games versus the last 3 games. These are all things that we're looking to consider, and we weigh in for the strength of the overall matchup. So when we sort by the and-one rating system, we're going to cut down our player pool super quick. When I sort by descending, I'm going to look here for overall depth of the slate. 5-game slate, a little bit short. But we don't have a super deep slate tonight either with quality premium matchups. We've got some really, really good plays, and everybody's going to be on those. So if you're looking for GPPs, you might be looking for a way off of Blake Griffin. You might be looking for a way off of Andre Drummond, whatever. You can look over here in our value metric system and see that our domination station, our projections really, really like Justice Winslow and Rodney McGruder tonight for Miami. Maybe you take one, maybe you take both. I don't know. That's going to be up to you. I don't build your lineup for you. I just kind of guide you in the right direction. So when we're looking at the N1, first thing we're going to start off doing is we're going to look at our player pool selection process. And I'm going to go position by position. And I don't talk players. I don't break them down or any of that kind of stuff for you. I point out what our numbers and what our research tools are pointing out to you as far as who you should be paying attention to. And on a game like tonight, I might take like top 3 or 4 guys. It's a small slate. I don't need to take a ton. So I've got Murray, Conley, and Jackson. Anybody else will go ahead and pop up on my sheet as I go, most likely. I'll kick over to the shooting guards. And look, again, I'm just sorted by and-one for right now. This is just the beginning of the process. Dwayne Wade's interesting. Magruder, Devin Booker. So there's 3 shooting guards. And I'm writing these down as I go. I encourage you to do the same thing. Josh Richardson, LeBron James, Justice Winslow. So it looks like Winslow and Magruder are going to definitely be in our lineup tonight if news doesn't change according, as we get closer to lock. Just based on the fact that they're in the top 3 and 1 matchups, and we know that they were matched up really, really high in the value metric system over here, based off of our DFS Army projections. Power forward, Blake Griffin, Paul Millsap, and Sabonis. So Blake, Mill, Sabonis, Sabone, T-Bone. Center spot, Drummond, Jokic, and Whiteside. Sorry to fall a little silent on you there. I'm trying to write as I talk. Trying to write shorthand chicken scratch over here on my piece of paper. So I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, I got what, 15 players in my player pool already, right? Now I can do a couple of other things. I can click this off and I can search for value plays. I can get down in here, go less than $6,000. This is on Fanduel. If you hear my dog eating in the background, I apologize for that. But there's Bam, Wade, Winslow. So Bam is not on the previous list. Magruder, Jackson, Monte Morris, Tyreek Evans, right? Bogdanovich, probably not. Darren Collison, maybe. Okay, why Bogdanovich? I just looked over here really quick, saw his 4.1 rating, and it's not going to pull into our system anyway. And Trey Lyles at a 4.6. I don't know if it'll use him or not. Well, he's at a 4.9, my bad. So Lyles. Now we'll go under 4,500 again. This is just the full-on way that I run this when I'm trying to cut down my player pool. And I'm going to do another little trick here in just a second, just to hopefully catch it all. I'm just cutting the fluff. Any trash will not be in my player pool whatsoever. Lyles is on the list. JaMychal Green. Kelly O. If you have the balls to roster that, keep rostering that guy. Stanley Johnson. I probably would stick with these two at the 4.9. That's what I'm looking for. Down here at the 4.7 with Langston Galloway. That might be a little bit news dependent. But now what do I have? I had 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. 23 players. The other way that I can do this is I can take the salary markers back off. And this is a fully customizable situation for you. And over here to the right, I mean, if you've never seen this thing before, there are more stats over here than you'd know what to do with. And our sim model will pop in there in a little bit, which runs our player scenarios 5,000 times to hopefully smooth out the outliers and give us the best chance at seeing who should hit value in the matchup tonight. But I'm going to take this down by descending order, pull all those guys at the very top. If it's these two guys, I know I've pretty much got everybody. Yep, Winslow, Magruder. Bridges is another one, so another ad. Collins, Johnson. Collins is a little bit expensive. James Johnson, but it loves it some Collins tonight. Collins, James Johnson, Cantor. Collins, Johnson, Collins, Cantor. And that gets me out to about, what, 29, 30? There's Bam again. So we're starting to repeat. So we've got pretty much everybody sifted through off of here. Another thing that I will do on occasions, I will take this list here and I will sort it off by nothing. I don't want to see anything 20 points, under 20 points. I only want 20-point people on my list. I want my drop score in theory, I want my drop score to be 22, 23, 25 points. I mean, if I had to drop a 30, I had a damn good night. So I want it to get high. I want to cut some of the fluff. If you're only projected to score 15, 16 points, I don't need you. Now, I would love to see a guy who's projected to score, $3,800 and projected to score 21, 22 points. That'd be great. If he just hits projections, I might wind up dropping somebody else. I might not need to drop him, but I would love to drop him anyway at 22 points because it means the rest of the guys did very, very well. And of course, a cheap guy allows me to roster some of the bigger studs most nights. So that's basically the player pool cut down in a nutshell. What I would do from here is I would go into our domination station. I would uncheck all of our players. I would click point guard in the domination station. I would enter, just check my point guards. Then I would just check my shooting guards, just check my small forwards, just check those players. And then I typically run, 5, 10, 15 lineups with 2 or 3 unique players. Something that the rest of the industry doesn't seem to have access to is being able to control your player pool and your dispersion by creating unique player scenarios. And of course, there's team stacking options, there's player stacking options, there's exposure control if you only want somebody in 75% of your lineups, or you want him to be in at least, like let's say we saw somebody tonight, we wanted to fade off Blake Griffin. If I go back here by the and one and sort by that, pull Blake back to the top. I wanted to get off of Blake Griffin, and instead I wanted to use, maybe Millsap, and it looks like a weeknight at power forward, Millsap and Sabonis. I wanted to make sure that Blake Griffin was only in 50% of the lineups that I ran tonight, and I wanted to make sure that somebody else, if I power forward, might be a little bit easier just to sort just by that. Grab another name off of there. There's really not another one tonight. What other names do we have? Maybe we play with the center spot. Let's say these top 3 guys here. And it's going to be pulling a lot of Jokic and probably a lot of punting with Bam and Cantor, which, I mean, not exactly a punt with Cantor, but not $10,000 high. So, and probably a little bit of punting with Bam. Let's say I wanted Bam only in 50% of my lineups because every lineup I was running in the domination station was giving me Bam, 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 nothing but Bam. Then I would limit him to 50%. And let's say I ran that again, and the other 2 or 3 guys that mixed in were Cantor and Jokic, but I wanted some Drummond tonight, but I didn't want him in a lot of my lineups tonight. I might not lock Drummond in and only run 2 or 3 lineups in that scenario. I might just keep running my 10 or 20 lineups, but I would use a minimum exposure on Drummond of, say, 20%. And I would force him into 2 or 3 lineups. And then I would see if I like the combinations it spits out with him as an optimizer. I can use my own player pool to make sure that any combination of guys that I like in the domination station is going to be something that I like to see. It's going to be a lineup that I'm happy with. And then from there, I can take that player pool and refine it further by forcing guys in or limiting guys or juicing some projections a little bit or taking some projections down a notch and get that thing really mixing the way I want it so that when I run 10 lineups, I've got an even dispersion of players. I've got Drummond in 1 or 2 like I wanted to see, and Jokic in 2 or 3, and then I've got Bam in 6, and then whatever, and Cantor in 2 or 3, or whatever, Whiteside in 1 or 2. The way I would end up mixing that up would be something that appeals to me. I would make sure I don't have the same 2 point guards in every single lineup. I have, maybe 3 or 4 guys that are kind of shuffling in and out, along with the same with shooting guards, small forward, power forward, whatever. Maybe I do like Blake Griffin tonight, and I do lock him in. Or maybe I am okay with the domination station giving me Blake Griffin in one of those power forward spots across the board. That's fine too. That's where it comes down to you building the lineups the way you want to see them. I'm just helping you cut the player pool down, telling you the guys most likely to perform up to value tonight. And out of that list of 30 guys, there's still going to be 3 or 4 that shit the bed. It's just going to happen. If you end up accidentally picking 2 of those guys in your lineup, there's no way to tell which ones they are. But if you end up picking 2 of those guys in your lineup, your night is sunk. And that's just the breaks. That's why we carry a bankroll. That's why we talk bankroll management. That's why we carry upside contests instead of just cash, or we carry cash instead of just GPPs, because we're trying to hedge our bets and cover ourselves appropriately across the slate so that we can continue to perform on smaller bankrolls. That, or larger bankrolls, whatever. You don't want to lose it all in one night. But we're trying to allocate our resources appropriately to where we always have upside. We always have a floor where we should still perform. And we're just going to make sure that night in and night out, we're not using so much of our overall bankroll that 3 bad nights completely crushes us and we have to dip into our pockets and redeposit on the sites. As far as DFS Army is concerned, we never want to see you redeposit again. We know that that's largely inevitable, but we're going to try and cut that down. That's our number 1 priority, is turn you into a little bit better player by making sure you redeposit less. From there, we'll worry about becoming profitable. From there, we'll worry about attacking GPPs. We're going to get the fundamentals in place first. We're going to plug your leaks. We're going to find the holes in your game, hopefully, and we're going to address those first. Make you a stronger player, less of a fish. Not that you're a fish, but if you're a brand new player, make you competitive right out of the gate. And then from there, we're going to work on making you an even stronger player. And if it reaches past my expertise, I know the people who can help you. That's why you need to become a member of DFSArmy.com. Use that coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Get your butt in here. Click the like and subscribe button while you're down there, please. And help me retweet my December sweeps out there on Twitter. I really, really appreciate all the help. I feel like I have the cure for DFS cancer, and I'm screaming from the mountaintops, but I can't do it alone. I need everybody's help to keep spreading the word, to keep leading from the front, to keep charging forward with a give more than I take mentality. And if that kind of stuff appeals to you, glad to have you on board. Thank you for helping out. I will be back tomorrow, probably with more of an NBA slate than a hockey slate, but if you check in DFS Diary, you'll see the hockey video. If you follow me out on Twitter, you'll see some hockey content coming out as well as the other guys and coaches on the website, dfsarmy.com. Take care. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go eat some lunch. Hopefully you've done the same thing. And have a good night. Hopefully we win a lot of money. Take care, guys.